We did an in-person resin training class, and I'm gonna be showing you guys the secrets of epoxy. A quick tip, I know it's not listed on here, but whenever you do your design or you're trying to drop a floor, do not let the homeowner be here with you. Because I've noticed this 3 times already with myself. They will say, oh, can you put this there? 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 By the time you do what they want you to do, it's already drying up and you ruin the design, okay? You gotta let them know, educate them that, hey, I'm here to drop you a floor. You gotta give me full 100% trust that I'm gonna give you a beautiful floor, and that's it. You can be like, draw me a picture of a template of the garage and tell me you want veins here, 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 and here. And I'll try to imitate that veinage right there. But you cannot be here. For one, it's gonna be too much chemicals and fumes for you guys, and it's not gonna be healthy or something like that. Make some excuse. Remember, 24 to 48 hours before you walk on that floor, always do a finger test before you walk on the floor. Touch the floor. If you can see your finger imprint on the floor, do not walk on it. You will put footprints in the floor, and then once you do your T200 or urethane top coat or whatever top coat you decide to go with, it's gonna show. 7 days, cannot park on the garage floor. Nothing heavy, nothing too crazy, but they can move stuff in after 48 hours. Step 6 is gonna be spraying your clear coat. Make sure you guys protect that metallic epoxy floors. For one, it's brand new resin, which it's super easy to scuff and ruin basically. So that's why we do a top coat. And for resin, a full cure, like it's a full 24 hours. That's like a full 100% cure. It's gonna be a little more durable than that. And always upcharge for a top coat, but in a sense, include it in your price, but just throw it in there.
That's cheating.
Throw in a little extra, couple $100 for your top coat. Don't worry about it. You should be fine. And remember, this is not a bulletproof system. It's not gonna be your everyday like bulletproof armored glass. Yes, it is a commercial grade product, but you have to educate your homeowners and clients that, look, if you drag something heavy across this floor and you can scratch the concrete floor, you're gonna scratch the epoxy floor. Regardless of the top coat that you use, you will scratch it, okay? Step 7 is gonna be taking videos and pictures of your floor, advertise it, post it on social media, on Instagram, you gotta post it on Facebook, join as much epoxy Facebook groups there is. There is a lot out there. There's a lot of people, epoxy installers, who need help on prepping a floor. You can always just shoot them a DM. So join a lot of Facebook group pages. That way you're in the actual field and you see other people who post mistakes and then they'll ask questions. Instagram, by the time you get your Instagram set up, go ahead and go into the creator tools. Change your account to a professional dashboard. That way you can boost your posts. So you want to put a minimum of $50 per day on your post and a maximum of $95. So that's going to give you the perfect algorithm, because if you go over that, you're going to be wasting money and not going to get that much views. If you go under that, Instagram is not going to push it out. If you want to advertise and sell a floor, boost it in your area, put in the really rich cities or rich zip codes. The reason why we spend so much money on material is because it lasts so long, okay? If you go cheaper versions, it's not going to last as long. People are going to give you bad reviews. You're going to get callbacks. Your name is just going to go into the dirt. You don't want to run your name into the dirt. When you're working on the design, you want to put your veins in line with how your resin is moving so that it looks as natural as possible. If I just took my vein and went this way with it, it's going to look weird, all right? Obviously. Whenever you go to a homeowner and you land the job, you're going to have to give them as many options as they possibly can choose from. Don't overwhelm them, but give them the options and choices. That way they can see everything, and if you do a floor, they're not going to call you in 2 days and be like,
oh, I didn't know that you guys had this color. You know, I wanted this color on my floor.
You don't want that. So just show them all the colors, all the different styles, techniques, and stuff like that. Do your best to try to achieve it, but make sure you tell them that it's not going to be exactly as it is in the picture, because every floor is different and it moves differently. Improving safety by providing a seamless, non-slip surface that is easy to clean and maintain in both residential and commercial settings. As you guys can see, this floor does have a little texture with the T200, and again, when it's wet, it can be slippery, but not as slippery. I've literally had one callback out of like 70 people that are like super Karens, all right? They're like,
slippery.
But it's not, bro. Like, we can spill water on it right now and it's good. On your shoes, your bare feet, it don't matter. So polyaspartic is gonna be your most non-slip floor. The flake is gonna be your poly. If you do a polyaspartic clear coat, it's also gonna be more or less non-slip. I've done my trailer and it was pretty grippy. It's a softer material. We got to ensure the floor is entirely dry before commencing any work on it. All right, I've had jobs where I took out the water system. I came back the next day, it flooded the entire floor. I couldn't install that epoxy that day. If you have rainy weather and it's super humid and your floor is somewhat damp in a sense, don't do resin. It's gonna peel up, it's gonna bubble up, and it's gonna ruin the floor. All right, conduct a moisture test on the concrete surface. If the moisture levels exceed 10%, it is advisable to apply a moisture vapor barrier, also known as an MVB. Your concrete surface meter, moisture meter, again, that one is like a wood one, but it also does like stucco and stuff, so it works perfectly. It's $60 at Home Depot. Spend the money. If you want to be extra and bougie, go spend 600 bucks. I don't care. It's your money, not mine. Don't skip a step because again, it will fail and you're gonna have to replace the floor. That's another $4,000. Prior to applying the resin, ensure that the entire surface is dust-free and make sure that your shoes and clothing are clean to prevent any unwanted contamination. Before doing the floor, dust yourself off. Clean your shoes. Take your shoes off. I don't care. While you're pouring out resin and you see something on the floor, grab your finger, put it in your pocket, move on. If you're moving your design and you see a little bump in the design, stop, pick up that little bump, put it in your back pocket. I mean, all my back pockets are all full of resin because, you know, there's stuff in the floor. We have to do the best we can to avoid that. Obviously, we have wind. We have windows, we have our garage door. If we close it, as soon as it jolts, stuff will fall from the garage door. Take a leaf blower, blow it down. You know, this one was relatively clean, so I didn't want to do that. But like I said, make sure that the entire area is clean. Make sure you're clean. A lot of times I'll notice a lot of my beard hair will fall into the floor, so you got to make sure dust your beard before you go on the floor. Shake your head, I don't care, something. Do whatever you can necessary to make sure that you're not going to contaminate the floor because we're here to make a glassed out resin floor. And this is going to be one of the main tips. It's don't rush. Also, don't be too slow. Last thing you want to do is start here, move slowly, get it here, get it to this point right here, and then you're up over here and you're like, I don't have enough time, but you have like 15 minutes and you only spent 3 minutes, you know? And you're gonna think psychologically, oh, I don't have enough time to finish the floor, so you're gonna start walking it really fast. Well, if you move the magic trowel too fast, it's gonna create drop lines. You'll see the lineage that it makes if you move it really fast, and or it can just mess everything up. Another thing that I've noticed is whenever you move the resin and you swing it a little too far, it'll throw resin and glide on top of the other resin and then drop. And that will create a drop mark in, let's say, your design part. So that's what we have to try to avoid. Don't rush. Remember, we're not here. This is not a marathon. So another one is going to be do not install epoxy with humidity over 70%. It's not going to glass out as good. It's going to be hazy. You're going to have moisture in the floor. It's not going to dry properly. It's going to be sticky and tacky. All right. Okay. Don't install epoxy under 50 degrees Fahrenheit. If it's under 50, you don't want to install it. First of all, your resin is going to be way too thick. It's not going to move as much. After mixing in your part B, remember you have 4 minutes of pot life. You guys will notice if you don't pour out the whole bucket and you leave that bucket and you kind of start working it and you see some steam coming out of that bucket, your pot life's over. That epoxy is now hard as a rock, and or that's what bowling balls are made out of. They're insanely strong, you know what I mean? But with that being said, any questions, we can go ahead and start off. Who's first? Your material cost, I'll tell you right now, you're gonna need 1 box of flake, which will last you a couple jobs for sure. 1 box of flake's $110. Kit of polyaspartic is $260. And you don't even need you don't need anything else. So, okay, tint pack, it's like 40 bucks. Because you'll do poly base and then poly top, okay? I wanna say like 400 bucks for material, give or take, with the brushes and rollers. So I typically will charge anywhere from $500 to $600. If you wanna be a little more bougie, you wanna make a little more percent, 800 bucks. So depending on what you want to do, just remember $400 is going to be what you have to pay out of your pocket to do the flake apron and flake trim. The red one is just essentially a buffing pad. Be careful with your gold. You can sand that out, okay, because it's on top, okay? But since it's on T200 now, you can't, okay? You're good. No, because the actual spec sheets require you to just do 1 coat. You don't need to do a second coat. I've had clients who they didn't like how I used 3 different top coats on their floor and I had to redo their whole floor like 7 times. had to do just flood it with resin twice, sand it, buff it, TT100. Like I had to do so many coats of stuff because they wanted like a perfect, they wanted perfection, which is almost damn near impossible. So, but another thing with the T200 thing, if you do several layers, you're gonna run into the issue where it's gonna delaminate on itself, okay? So unless you sand and prep it. Tape it, go around it, do the best you can. Do whatever you can to make it look good, basically. Obviously, it's not perfect in the back or on the sides, which is fine, but it's at the point where if you can't move it, what makes you think he's gonna move it and put stuff over there, you know what I mean?
Just communicate with the customer.
Yeah, just be like, look, that's all we can do, you know what I mean? So I would essentially flood in my epoxy. I would take it and I would pour epoxy here. I'd pour a nice little blob here, here, and here. And I would take my notch trowel, or not notch trowel, I'd take my squeegee and I would just push it and it'll flow because it's a liquid form. It'll flow in there and self-level. Obviously I can't get white and gray back there, but it'll just be black. So I just get it as far in there as possible. Get that foam brush and push the resin. It'll self-level, you'll be fine. It's gonna stick to the baseboard. That's why a lot of people don't use tape. That's why I don't use tape. The epoxy runs up the tape and bonds one with the baseboard. So if you do it, essentially you'd want to tape it, do your design, come back and peel the tape.
Same day.
Before you get off the floor. Not even in an hour. You want to. Yeah, do your veins, go back, peel the tape, throw it out, get off the floor. You know what I mean? So that's the best thing, the way go around it, because if you come back in an hour, you're gonna be walking on the design, it's gonna be like pulling up strings on that floor. You don't want that. So right away, as soon as you do your stuff, pull it up, good to go. XPS online, you go on their website and they'll have a color chart of all the metallics, and you can just show them. You can send them a picture via text message. I know New Era Epoxy has a little flake chart. If you guys doing flake floors, give them that book. You know, show them the signature flakes and stuff like that. So, yeah, it's all online and stuff. If I did one kit of white, we would not have white in this floor. It would be majority of just black and gray. We might have slithers like this right here. That's it. But I wanted more white. Me honestly, I would like a little more white in here, but that's all right. I can roll with this. It looks good. Yeah, gold and silver. Those are gonna be your main. Any other color, you can get epoxy and just pour it in and just move it. Move it with a stick, magic trowel. Best way to pour in little puny veins is you're gonna use a ketchup bottle, mix up a little cup, pour it in a ketchup bottle, and squeeze it out. It's gonna get, because if you pour out a little bead about this much, your vein is gonna be this big. If you pour out a bead this big, your vein's gonna be this big, okay? It doubles, triples, quadruples even. And you'll see once you like lay it out and you look back, it's gonna move out instantly, you know what I mean? No DNH alcohol. You just want to do microfiber and Windex. Windex or soapy water. I want to say 5% or 2% soap, 97% water. No, you don't want any harsh chemicals. You're going to lose and kill the shine. You don't want to go less than 400. So do 450. 450, yeah, you want 450 grit. And remember, all these epoxy resins and all the companies and everybody, they all have spec and data sheets on everything. Also, you got to remember that a lot of the times, or sometimes, there will be a homeowner that's not really, he's not a Karen, but he'll be like, oh wow, the floor looks great, but then in reality, he doesn't like it, you know? That's when you have to catch that early on and be like, okay, he doesn't like it. If you don't like it, he's probably not gonna like it, redo the floor. You know what I mean? Eat it, redo the design, try to make it better. You know what I mean? You can see it, and sometimes you'll see people's faces. Yeah, no, you gotta right away do it, because let's say 5 to 6 months, first of all, you need that social media. Second of all, you gotta get the review. Third of all, in 5 to 6 months, the floor is gonna be so contaminated with tire pickup that once you do your design, you sand it, do your design, you're gonna get fish eyes across the whole floor. 80 grit, 90 grit sandpaper or swinger, just swing that whole bad boy, clean it. Yeah, you don't have to take the design out. You can design right over it. You do not have to go back down to bare concrete. You've already established a base coat. At everything from that point on, you can just add and stack. This flake border is telling you that the floor is good. It's done. The design's done. We're not doing anything else. We're not adding anything. We're not doing it. We're not doing another clear coat. We're not adding stickers. We're just spraying T200. That's it. This is the last and final step that you're going to do in this entire process. I'm out of the resin, and I'm going to move